All right. Once again, welcome everybody. It's March the 26th, 7 p.m. This is MELS 601, and I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope all of you guys are healthy and your family's okay and your extended family's okay. It's a challenging time for everybody. I would surmise to say I think the governor's order about school was all schools, including private and charter. So I guess everybody is working from home or working from school and getting ready for remote learning, or you may have already engaged in remote learning. We took the first 2 weeks to do enhancement enrichment activities that kind of gave us some time to make sure that our lunch lines were established and we could start feeding kids and getting those meals out to students and kind of establishing those communication lines and then getting ready for remote learning. Um, just take a breath. Normally in 601, which is the hardest semester, candidates have their regular job activities that keep them busy, plus the stress of being in a master's program and a very involved and rigorous master's program like Gardner Webb. Well, you have got all have that plus the added stress of dealing with this COVID-19. This is a historical moment. Um, no, and I can't remember who I've said what to at this point in time. I've done so many Zoom sessions, not just with Gardner Webb candidates, but with my own teachers and with people in our district. But nobody nobody has ever faced what we're facing right now. Not this situation, not this type of scenario where you have a pandemic going on, plus you got the added responsibility of technology, which everybody's thinking, okay, we got the technology, then we're going to utilize that technology to keep school going. People have dealt with pandemics before, but I think this is a very unique historical time, and I think it's a good opportunity. I think it's an opportunity to get some experiences that no one else has ever had before, and it's a historical moment. So people will look at us as a nation and as a community and as a township and as a school. And how did we react? What did we do? Did we meet the challenge? And from all that I have seen and heard, not only across the state but across the nation, I think we're meeting that challenge head on. And I'm proud of our country. I'm proud of our state. I'm proud of our region. I'm proud of seeing teachers standing outside and handing meals to kids. And I'm proud of seeing how awesome it is when a kid comes up to a lunch line and they see their teacher or they see their ESL teacher or their EC teacher or their teacher assistant or their principal, and their face lights up. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that we are ensuring that children don't go hungry and that they are still feeling connected, even though they may not be at school. I'm proud of teachers working long, long hours, and administrators working long hours day and night to do the best they can for the students. And I tell you, yeah, it's a bad situation, but man, there's so much good that can come out of it too. And I feel fortunate. I just thank God that I'm healthy and my wife is healthy and my kids are healthy and my mom and dad is healthy and my in-laws are healthy. And I really thank God for that. I also thank God that I can be associated with so many people that are meeting the challenge. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. If it has to be this way, then okay, bring it on, because we're going to do our best, and we have done our best. And I'm proud of everybody, and continue proud of you guys as far as candidates. Continue to do everything that you got to do at school, plus get this. And I said all that, and I certainly didn't mean to say all that. Somebody needs to give me a push button to shut up sometimes and get on the rambling train, and I'll ride that baby as long as I can sometimes. But uh, I'm just going to let you know it does not have to be perfect. Do the best you can. If you can't meet, you can't meet. If you're PLC, half of them are working from home. then half of them are working from home. If you try to do a Zoom and that Zoom lags out, it's okay. Just do the best you can. It is understood. The effort's going to be there, and that's all that matters. And we will continue to work on it until we get it right. But if you put in the effort, we'll be okay. We'll be okay with this. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking at faces and I see the fatigue. I certainly see the fatigue in your faces, and so I know you're giving it everything you can, and I appreciate that. And you know, we'll just try to keep on keeping on. Tonight, I just wanted to go over Task Stream and answer any questions that you have regarding finishing it up. We're in the 11th week. Still got some fair amount of time, but I think last time I spoke to you, we need to really get those tasks in. Get those tasks in, and please just remember, put the task in task for review first before you put it in for grading. Don't put task 3 in until you have task 2 finished and graded, or task 1 finished and graded. I know that may not be a big deal to a lot of you high-level thinkers that can do that abstract and look at several different cogs and see them all turning the same way. But I am step 1, step 2, step 3 kind of guy. I believe in point A to point B, and that does limit me, and I will own that and apologize to you for that. But that's how I stay organized. So please just put an effort in to check and make sure that you have task 1 uploaded into review. You've gotten review for it, and I've said put it into the evaluation Dropbox, and you have it in the evaluation Dropbox, and you get that grade, because that grade tells me whether I can pass you or give you an incomplete or fail you. And I don't fail candidates who continue to try. So that grade helps me stay on track to make sure that you have everything that you need and that you're in good shape to move on to MELS 6.2. It doesn't matter, and don't take this the wrong way, and I apologize if I offend you. It doesn't matter to me if task 1 through 5 has been reviewed and you've got excellent reviews in each task. If that task hasn't been uploaded to the evaluation Dropbox, I cannot give you a grade. And it's as simple as that. And if all tasks have not been uploaded until the evaluation Dropbox, tasks 1 through 5, I can't give you the go-ahead to put the final evidence narrative in. And if I can't do that, then we can't get it to task stream. So just please look at everything, make sure that you got that. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. I apologize. I know I have been out of communication for the most part for the last couple of days because literally we have been working day and night to get everything ready and get the district moving. And it's been some late nights and some early mornings. So I apologize for that. I did get back on today, try to get everybody that was on in good shape to do that. And tomorrow I'll make sure that you all are in good shape so you'll have the weekend to work on anything that you work on. With that being said, if anything comes up in your life that's going to prevent you from doing what you need to do, let me know. God forbid, and I hope and pray that all of you stay healthy, and so do your family. That's my prayer for everybody that I know, and even people that I don't know each night. But if something happens, and it doesn't have to be getting sick, you know, if the tire blew out in your truck, or if the lawnmower guy ran over the electricity and you don't have electricity, any kind of life events that happen that's going to delay you, let me know what's going on. And Dr. Church too, because I'm sure he's told you this. If we know what's going on, then, and we understand the situation, we can help. We can certainly help. So with all that being said, and now I'm getting ready to cough, so don't freak out. This is allergy cough. I do not have a temperature. I promise you, nothing's going to go through the screen and hit you. You might see some little splotches, you know, here or there, but that's allergy splotches, okay? That's not anything else. Thanks. Isn't that amazing when you cough in public or you cough when you're around people? Everybody goes, you know, and I don't blame them. I do the same thing. I do the same thing, but that is allergies. It happens to me every year. Okay, so let's move on. I appreciate the laughter. That's good to see those smiles. I'm going to share with you task stream if I can find it. Okay, it might. I think. Okay, hold on just a minute. I may go off share for just a second because I had it pulled up, but I think it timed down on me. If the screen goes blank, I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so do you see task stream now? Okay, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate that affirmation. All right, so what we're looking at right now is we're at the point where you have completed task 1 through 5. You have got the go ahead from me to combine them into one document and submit them to the final evidence narrative. Now I'm talking Blackboard stuff right now. I'm not talking task stream right yet. You submit it to the final evidence narrative. We look at your turning in report, everything looks good, and you get your grade of 100 from the final evidence narrative. And in the comments of that grade, it will say ready for task stream. At that point, the absol is done. Unless you're directed to do so by your evaluator, you don't touch the absol. Don't make any adjustments to it. Don't make any changes to it, except if after the final evidence narrative, even though you've got through that point, if that Zoom meeting that you've been waiting on to have happened during that period of time, or you were able to do a presentation that you haven't been able to do that period of time. And if you see the need to add to that document after it has gone through final evidence narrative, contact me. And that could certainly happen. I think a lot of you have handled this situation very well and documented in your narrative that due to the health crisis, due to the whatever scenario or situation you want to call it, that you were unable to meet with your PLC at this time, but the meeting is scheduled for in the future. I think you've done a good job of just kind of letting people know what's happened. The reader, when I say letting people know, just let the reader know what's happened. You don't have to go into a great amount of detail about it, but that just lets the reader know that you weren't able to conduct or complete this activity for that reason. So before you upload a task stream, if you're able to complete it for that reason, for whatever reason, then contact me and let me know that you need to insert that into your document, and I'll do a post review of it. Normally you don't do that, but of course this isn't normal time. So I'll do a post review of it. If in your narrative that meeting never happens before you submit it to task stream, now this is week 11, and we've got several more weeks before the end of the semester. If you feel like it's going to happen and you kind of want to hold out, that's okay. The sooner you get in task stream, the sooner it'll be reviewed. If it never happens, then you're covered anyway because you've got that documentation in your narrative that this didn't happen for this reason. Believe me, the evaluators know that. They've been briefed in that, and so they're expecting to see that. So that will not penalize you. If for any reason you feel like you're penalized in regards to that, you let me know, and you and I will work. We will resolve that situation together. I'm going to check the chat box real quick. I saw something fly up there. Okay. If there's a situation, and this scenario raises a good question. Even if there's a situation to where you can't Zoom because the internet goes down or whatever, continue to try to get that. If you need to go ahead and proceed forward, as long as you're not in the final evidence, if you're still in that scenario of submitting task 1, submitting task 2, submitting task 3, but in task 2, for example, you've got a technical issue, you know it'll be resolved eventually, can you move on? Yeah, just send me an email and let me know. I went ahead and put this in here. I'm waiting on this to happen. just let me know, and then I'll go ahead and we'll keep on with the process. And then when that technical issue gets resolved or whatever the issue is, just let me know, and then we'll go back and we'll fill in the holes, so to speak. The main thing is just to stay in contact with me. Now, I have a bad memory. If you guys haven't guessed that now, then you probably will as we go through the program. You may have to remind me. I may email you and say, why haven't you done this? And you say, well, Dr. Bullis, we talked about this yesterday. And I'm going to say, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me. So don't be offended if that happens, because I'm not perfect, and I do make mistakes, and my memory is probably the hindrance on my life more than anything else at this time. Too many headbutts when I was a young kid. Okay, so let me get off the chat. And all right, so everything's great. You got your final evidence narrative. You have received in the comments ready for task stream. You don't upload anything about that APSL into task stream till you see that. When you see ready for task stream, then you take your APSL and you upload it. You go into the DRF, go into the task stream. You will be, this is first semester, so this will be spring 2020. And that's going to kind of be your call sign from now on. When you go into task stream, you'll always click on spring 2020, because that's your cohort. Even as we get into fall 21, when you go back into task stream to submit something, you'll still, that's like I said, that's your call sign. You'll click on that spring 2020, because that's the date, the semester and year that you entered the program. So just ignore this up here where it says spring 2019. You take the APSL and you upload it here, this link right here. Now, we talked about this last time, competency analysis and school ed disposition. I'm going to come back to that, because these two items here, these can be done. They're very quick. They can be done in one setting. Doesn't take a lot of your time to do. Not requiring any new, really any of this stuff doesn't require any new writing or work on your part, other than just kind of utilizing what you've already done. So these are not time consuming at all. So I always tell candidates, let's just hold off on these. This is something you can do once you get the biggies out of the way. One biggie is uploading the APSL. That's your top priority. The next priority is your competency folio. So we talked about that. I kind of introduced you to that last time. We're going to go into a little more depth about what that is. To access your competency folio. Now, your competency analysis, your competency folio, and the 21 competencies that you're responsible for are three different things. That can be really confusing because they all have that word competency in them as to which is which. When I talk about the competency analysis, I'm talking about this. When I talk about the competency folio, then I'm talking about this area here on the banner and task stream that you click on, and that brings up your competency folio. So when I talk about the competency folio, I'm talking about this. Now, you have to create this. I believe I told you last time, and you should have already done it, or you should have know that you need to do it. If I'm talking to you and this all sounds unfamiliar, somebody let me know and I'll go into a little more detail. But there's a 2-minute video in Blackboard that will show you how to set this up. Yours won't look like mine. You create it yourself. I'm going to go over, let me go into Blackboard. I think I'm still sharing, and you're seeing me pull up Blackboard. Evan, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Give me the thumbs up on that. In the video library, there is a setting up your competency folio. This shows you how to do it. Dr. Lamb's the one who did it. It's a 2-minute video. It's very simple. So that will show you how to create. Let me click on the right thing. To create this. Now you can make this your own. You can change the background. You can change the font. You can change the colors. have I showed you the exemplar that we use to show candidates? Great. I have showed you the exemplar. Super. Okay, super, super. All right, so you make that your own. So when we talk about the competency analysis, we're talking about what we just saw in the DRF. This is the competency folio, and within the competency folio, you have your 21 competencies listed here. Now they go from communication all the way down to visionary. Do not be concerned about digital learning competency, and we'll talk about the internship log here in just a minute. As I told you last time, you go through each of these and you find each competency that has the ABSL highlighted in the upper text. That lets you know that this is where you upload an artifact. These are the artifacts that you've collected on through the ABSL. Permission from the principal to start a PLC, your first PLC meeting agenda, the minutes from the meeting, the clips of you conducting the meeting, whether it be visual pictures or a video clip of you conducting the meeting. It could even be the action plan that you've created. It's all that stuff, all that products that you created as a result of your activities in the ABSL. This is where you load all of that up. Now, you can write a description by each artifact. You can identify each artifact as if this is from the ABSL. And you can write a brief description. You do not have to do a narrative. No way do you have to do any kind of narrative. This is just a place for you to put those pictures and those artifacts that show you're competent in the area of, in this case, communication. Now, if you'll notice, there are 3 here. When you do the SciApp, then you're going to upload artifacts from the SciApp. Plus, there's some things that you're going to do in your clinical experiences, in your internship. You're going to create some great artifacts there. You may do a presentation to the board that doesn't have anything to do with any of the evidence, anything to do with the ABSL, but it's a good demonstration of your communication competency. You can upload it here. So in each of these competencies, communication all the way down to visionary, for each one, they're going to be 3 submissions. Can I submit more? Yes. The minimum is 3. One of which has to be, in this case, the ABSL, the other one, the SciOp, and then open-ended. If you want to submit more than that because you want to take this portfolio and use it beyond here for interviews and to show people and highlight your skills, great, go and do it. Okay, I'm going to take a break and look at the chat box here for just a second. Okay, good. Okay, great. Question was, how many artifacts? Good question. As I said, the minimum is 3 for each. We're going to kind of look at each. I'm not going to go through all the competencies. We're going to look at a few until we can kind of get a good feel of how each one can be a little different. The narrative, no, I tell you, when the DPI looks at this, or their team person looks at this, because this is for licensure, this is part of your licensure requirements, they're really not interested in the narrative. They want to satisfy just the fact that you have done what you said. They're going to read all the narrative stuff when they review your evidence and your ABSL. So they don't really want to read it again. They're going to read that narrative, and if you put the artifacts in the appendix, that's great. You know, it looks great. I like to see that. But this is the official place where they grade that and check you off on that. And so then they're going to read that narrative, then they're going to look here and they're going to look for evidence or artifactual proof. I call it authentic documentation, where you did what you said you did in the narrative. Now, if you just put a picture up there in front of you talking to some people, you can say, well, how do they know that that's dealing with the ABSL? Or how do they know this particular artifact is involved in this? It's okay if you put a 1-sentence description, 2-sentence description, just to kind of say, you know, what this artifact is. If I ever look at an artifact when I review these and I think it needs a description, I'll let you know. Because sometimes I'll look at it and I'm like, I really don't understand how this is evidence of your competency in communication. Tell me a little bit about that. And then I may advise you, yeah, why don't we write a little description beside of this one, so nobody else will have that question. All right, so each competency is a little bit different. Some of them are exactly the same. Communication, as I said, For now, the only thing you have to do for this semester is upload one artifact from the APSL. You don't have to worry about this until later on. If you have a good internship, open-ended, and there's some suggestions in your handbooks about what open-ended artifacts can be, then you can upload it. If you want to stay ahead of the game, go ahead and upload it. The next one is also the APSL. It's just like communication. One artifact from the APSL, one artifact from the SOP, and one open-ended. Conflict management, okay, it's a little bit different. When you show competency in conflict management using those artifacts, you're going to pull one artifact from the APSL, that's this semester, one artifact from the APTL, that's actually your 602 evidence, that's what we'll be doing during the summer, and then an open-ended. Creative thinking, APSL, APTL, open-ended. The minimum is 3 artifacts, 2 from the evidences, and the evidences are listed here in the description or the title, and then an open-ended. Customer focus, it's different. What we're saying here is you do not need to worry about uploading in customer focus, because we're going to give you the opportunity through your activities in 604 with the OMA and the SCIP, I'm sorry, 603, 604. There's going to be good opportunities just from the very nature that we've structured those evidences that you're going to have a great opportunity to show competency and collect artifacts for customer focus. Delegation, we go back to the APSL. I'm not going to go through all of these. I just want you to see the differences. So what you need to do is you need to go through each of these and mark the ones that have the APSL in it. If memory serves me correct, and you know, from my last statement, you're kind of wondering, well, you know, that statement doesn't have much credibility. I think there's 9. I think 9 of these have the APSL in them. But don't believe me, you go in and check for yourself. And that's where you upload an artifact relating to that competency. No, let's see. I think we go on down here. Yeah, system thinking. So you think, what have I done? What artifact do I have that can show my skill as a system thinker? And then you can read the competency description in your skill handbook. But, you know, for example, you're at the action plan. The action plan shows competencies in your leadership skills of system thinking. Next question I usually get at this point is, can you use the same artifact for different competencies? Yes, you can. The action plan actually will serve several of these competencies because it just contains a lot of information. So you can use the same artifact in the different competencies from the APSL. Let me do a chat box check here. Let's see, the question was, would you recommend that we rename and edit the pre-formatted statements? You don't have to. If you want to clean it up for your sake, that's fine. You know, some people remove them completely. Some people kind of change it to kind of fit their own style, and that's fine if you do that. It's not required, and you're not penalized if you do. I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, shoot me another one. We'll get some clarification on that. So at this point, you've already uploaded the APSL to the DRF. You're waiting on it to be evaluated and to get feedback. So you'll know that you got proficient or accomplished. That's the perfect time to work on this competency folio. Stay up with this. You're not really graded on this until the end of the program. I will be looking at it and monitoring it to make sure that you have got what you needed in there, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But if you get behind on this, it is a bear to catch up on, because you're sitting in 603, your 3rd semester, you realize you haven't put anything in from the APSL. You've already passed the APSL, you went into the APTL, you're now in the OMA, and you don't even remember what the APSL was about. And you got to go back and hunt those artifacts, remember what you did, and slide them in here. It is a bear. I won't let you get to that point, because I wouldn't be a very good coach if I did. But just have the mindset that you want to stay up to date on this. At the end of each semester, you want to have the appropriate artifact with the appropriate evidence and not get behind. Let me check the chat box for another question. Okay, good. The question was, would it be appropriate to use artifacts from our time during our internship, even if it wasn't involved directly in the APSL? Yeah, if it's a good example, let me get the highlight. If it's a good example of, we'll go back to our number one here, good example of communication. If you did something in your internship that was a good example of communication, you feel really good about it, you did it this semester, you want to highlight it, go ahead and fill that open-ended slot in. You can put that in at any time. Anytime throughout the program, you can put those open-ended slots in. And that might be part of not having it up to date, is because you're still waiting to do something internship-wise that you can use as your open-ended. Don't feel like you have to, you can do that at any time you want to. That's another part about keeping up with it and knowing where those are at, that you can fill those in. All that I'm going to be looking to give you feedback on this semester is to make sure that you have all the ones pertaining to the APSL loaded up with these competencies. If I see an open-ended, I'll go ahead and comment on that too. But if it's not there, I'm not worried about it right now. We'll get into more of that around 602, 603. Right now, you just need to get used to this routine. I want you to feel really comfortable about, taking time to make this portfolio what you want it to look like for yourself, and then make sure that you get all those APSL artifacts loaded up. All right, so once you've gone through here and you've loaded up all the ones pertaining to the APSL and these 21 competencies, and there again, I think there are 9 of them, but prove me wrong. After you get that, then you need to request comment from me. This needs to happen sometime, I would say before, definitely before the end of the semester. I'm okay with it even being the last week. If everything else that you've got is perfect and this is the very last thing you have to do, then I'm okay with it being the last week, because I want you to take time in learning this process and getting it right. If you haven't uploaded the APSL yet for evaluation in the DRF, remember that this is the DRF. If you haven't uploaded the APSL in the DRF, you do not need to be messing with the competency folio. Until you get that APSL completed and uploaded, then you can concentrate on your competency folio. Remember, you access your competency folio here in the upper banner where it says folio and web pages. So let's get back into that. All right, so you got everything. You got your APSL. You're waiting on it to be evaluated, or it's been evaluated. You got a 3 or a 4. You're good to go. You got all your artifacts uploaded here. Okay, now what do? You go here. Now there's 2 tabs here. You'll see a comment tab and you'll see a publish share. If you want to share this with someone to show them what you've done outside of Gardner Webb, like you're going for a big interview and you want that person who's going to be on the interview team to be able to look at this, then you use publish and share here, just like in Canvas. You publish it, others can see it, okay? That's like outside of Gardner Webb. For the process by which we're going to use it for, and by what you need to make sure that I see, is comments. If you're going to share it with the interview person, you don't want them to be able to comment on it. You just want them to be able to see it. I'm the person that you want to be able to comment on it. So you click on comments, all right, and then you click on request comments. And then you go through here. Now, please do me a big favor. Listen to this intently. You only click on the competencies that you've uploaded artifacts to. And I'm just doing these at random right now. So the first semester, 602, or any semester, you won't click request comment on all areas. If you click request comments on all areas, then I have to comment on all areas, even the areas that you didn't upload an artifact. And that takes a tremendous amount of time for me to go and for me to do that. And I'll tell you why. When you click on the competencies that you've uploaded artifacts to, and you hit continue, then you look for my name. There might be some other names on here. I might be the only name that you see. But you find my name, whatever it looks like. Yours probably won't look like this because, like I said, this is something I built a while back, and just threw some names in just to kind of give it a look. You find Joe Bullis, and you click on him. Now, I'm not going to hit this, but if you hit continue at this point, I will get an email. Well, I'm sorry, it won't be an email, but when I go into TaskStream, it'll show red beside of each of those competencies saying that you've requested comments for that competency. It really causes my hair to stand up when I click on a competency and there's no artifact there because somebody clicked on that request comments on all areas, because I'm obsessive about that. I have to have those little red letters that telling me request comment. I have to have them gone, because if they're not gone, then every time I pull out a TaskStream, they're telling me request comments, request comments, request comments, and that really messes with me. So in order to get all of those gone, I have to click on each individual competency and give comments. And if there's not an artifact there, my comment's going to be, there's no artifact here. So please only click on the artifacts that you are the competencies that you've uploaded artifacts for. Now, if you want to get back at me for some reason and you think that would be a good joke to play on me, then have at it. But please don't do that unless you've got a really good reason to get back at me about something. All right, so let's go back over this again, and I'll leave all the side comments out. All right, so you've uploaded all your artifacts. Let's even go back a little bit farther. All right, so you've uploaded all your artifacts for each of the competencies that are related to the ABSL. You're ready for comments from me. You go up here to comments, click on that, request comments. You go through here, and you may just want to write them down. You know, I left an artifact here, 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 and here. You click on the competencies that you've left artifacts in, and then you click continue, and then you find my name wherever it might be. If you can't see my name, let me know, because then somebody's forgot to put my name in or give you or connect your Gartner Web ID with my Gartner Web ID, so it's up there. If you don't see my name, let me know. Click on my name, click continue, and what happens when you click continue is I'm going to get, when I go into TaskStream, I'm going to get those red letters that tell me that you requested comments, and when I click on your name, it's going to show me all the artifacts that you requested comments on. All right, so let me check the chat box. Oh, great question. I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Superb, thank you. All right, so any questions on how to request comments or when to do that? Okay, if you get through it and you forget it and you need to, review that, just let me know. Let me know. You can watch the video again. It's relatively simple, but like always, it seems clear now, but you get away from it in about 24 hours after you've dealt with everything else in your life. It's hard to remember what was said. So I get it. All right, so you've gone through, I'm going to go back another screen here. You've gone through and you requested all those comments. Now, that's of the competencies that's pertaining to the ABSL. Now, you'll notice digital learning competencies. You don't have to do anything with this. This is just for your benefit. Because what we've done is when we got accreditation and when this was approved, this process was approved, we said, we don't have to show proof of North Carolina digital learning competencies because by the very nature of the rubric and what they're required to do, they are going to show evidence of digital learning competencies. Those competencies are embedded in the rubric and embedded in the prompts and the description. And we got approval for that, where you don't have to go through and show evidence of digital learning competencies. You're doing that by default, just by uploading the other stuff that you do. Because think about it, video clips of you doing the meeting, YouTube videos of you doing the meeting, email communications, Google Doc, record of a meeting. See, all that's digital learning competency material. And so you're doing that anyway. So it's default that if you finish the program, you're going to show evidence just by the very nature of what we're asking you to do in digital learning competency. Now, each person that works for the state of North Carolina, I don't know about South Carolina or Virginia, but each person that works in the state of North Carolina has to get DLC credits. That's not anything to do with Gardner Webb. That's what your district is requiring you to do. It goes through your district. State of North Carolina is requiring you to do it, but it doesn't have anything with you getting the master's. It's just about you keeping your job. When you go through your renewal cycle, during that cycle, you're going to have to show so many digital learning credits, DLCs. We have had candidates in the past, and that exemplar that I showed you last time shows that has gone to their HR director or their HR contact person and said, listen, I'm doing this master's program, and what I'm having to do in this master's program, I'm going to be learning about Google Hangout. I'm going to be learning about converting videos into YouTube and using them for instructional purposes. I'm going to be doing PowerPoint presentations. You know, I'm going to be using, you know, could even be, you know, Canvas materials if you do that within your evidences with your PLC team. So if I want to do that anyway, if I show you proof that I did that, and Gardner Webb, where I've had somebody review it, the coach, and make comments on it, will you let that count as you know, Wake County schools or Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools or Surrey County schools? Will you, Mr. HR contact person, allow me to count that as a DLC credits that I have to show on my renewal cycle? And we have digital learning facilitators, and all that goes through technology and the digital learning facilitators. So that might be who you need to get approved from. And show them that, and you might just need to go through and highlight everything, but I would do it beforehand before I went to all that trouble, see if they'll let you count it. And if they do, then great. You have knocked out two huge birds with one stone. You've got your master's, and you've also got your digital learning competency satisfied for at least one renewal cycle. But that's not anything to do with Gardner Webb. We don't approve it. We can't approve it. We can't give you DLC credit. That's something that you'll have to do with your district contact person, whether it's your digital learning facilitator, somebody in technology, or somebody in your human resources department. So, and I can help you with that too. If you got an individual situation, well, tell me about it and we'll work through it together. Just let me know. Okay, the other thing you see here is your internship log. This is probably one of the last things that you do in your competency folio is just upload your internship log. And when you go, just for this semester, MELS 601, upload your internship log, your 80 hours, go to comments, request comments, and at the very bottom here, you'll see, I'm going to click off of that, you'll see internship log. And that lets me know when I go into task stream, that lets me know that you've uploaded your internship log. And I'll look at it and I'll say, okay, hey, you're in great shape. You got your 80 hours, everything counts. You're good to go right now. So that if your internship hours for 601 has been, you know, kind of a stamp of approval put on that. So that's what that's for. That's one of the last things that you do in your competency folio. All right, now I want to go back into the DRF because like I said, there's two biggies. One biggie is getting your ABSL uploaded in the DRF. The other biggie is getting your competency folio taken care of. Now you kind of do cleanup. The next thing you want to do after that is you want to go back into your DRF. You got everything done in your competency folio. You want to go back to your DRF. Your ABSL's done, your competency folio is done, but you still have these two items here, competency analysis and School of Ed disposition. So you ready to do that? It's the last couple of weeks in the semester, and now you can really do this at any time. If you want to go ahead and knock it out now, you can. You could do this tonight after we get off if you want to, because I think we're far enough along in the semester where you can kind of assess where you're at, because both of these are self-assessments. That's why I waited till this point to really go into them, because if you can, like I said, you can do these at any time. And if I went over this in the first week, then some of you, being the overachiever, high flyers that you are, would go ahead and do it. And it really wouldn't be fair for you to assess yourself at the very beginning of the program. You should wait until you're three-fourths of the way through the program, to assess yourself. So now you're at a good point. Like I said, you can do this tonight if you want to. Very simple, doesn't take a lot of time. This is the competency analysis, and it's basically a self-assessment. I need to move. I've got your pictures down here. I'm going to move them to the top of the screen. Okay. You go to competency analysis, complete this form. And all you do, all of this is a met or not met. And if you'll notice, all of these are your 21 competencies. So you're touching these guys again, but you're not having to do anything new. Where are you at now in relation to this? And if you're in the ABSL and you feel really good about the artifact and what you did in the ABSL, then you can put met. If you feel like you still need some work to do on this particular competency, like change management or communication, then you're going to have opportunity to visit this again midway through the program. And then you think, okay, I wasn't so good. I didn't feel good about where I was at in change management 601, but man, I've really done some great stuff since then. And the 603, I feel good about it. I met it. Now, some of these just you may not have dealt with at all. Global perspective, conflict management. And so it's okay if you put not met here. Because remember, this isn't for grading. The only thing I'm going to look to see is that you did it. And that's meeting the requirement is going through and either clicking on met or not met. It's just a self-assessment of where you're at right now. You click on each one, and then at the very bottom, you hit submit, save and return. And at that, I'll get notice that you've done this, and I'll go in and see that you've done each one. Whether it doesn't matter to me if it's met or not met. This isn't for me, that's for you as a self-assessment. And I'll just put met requirement, and then you'll get an email saying that I evaluated it and you met the requirement. And the requirement was completing this self-assessment. Any questions on the competency analysis? Okay. So let's go back to, I want to leave this. All right, so you've done your competency analysis. Now it's the same type of thing, and that's your school of ed disposition, and it's another self-assessment form, but it's not about your competency as a leader. It's about your disposition toward learning in general. This is a self-assessment, because what we're trying to get you to do is, if this is what we're showing growth, putting the ABSL up there is proficiency, showing the competency up there, competency folio, that's proficiency. When you do the competency analysis in the school ed disposition, this is the growth factor. So your dispositions towards education in general and learner development, and as you complete this and as you go through the program, don't think along the lines of a teacher, even though these are kind of worded towards being a teacher. Think along them as the lines of administrator. Start taking off that lens of teacher and putting on that lens and perspective of administrator. Where are you at in learner development? Do you think you're unsatisfactory now? And if you are, that's okay. Like I said, this is a self-assessment. You're not graded on hit and exceeds expectations on everything. The only thing I'm going to check is that you did this. There is room for comment here if you wish to make a comment. It is not mandatory, but you look and the people who are doing licensure will view this too. So, like I said, just so you'll know that, and they'll see, maybe at this point in learner development, in regards to being an administrator and thinking about my stakeholders as a whole and not just one class or grade level, I probably need some improvement right now being in 601. Then I'm going to click needs an improvement. If no, I feel like I got a good handle on this just from some of the intern experiences I've had. I'm getting a really grasp on this. I think I can meet these expectations. That's on you. That's for you to determine about yourself. And I think there's maybe 4 or 5 of these or more. And then there are not as many as the 21 competencies. And you just click, where am I at now in regards to this? If I want to make some comment for the licensure people to see, then I'm going to put it here, save and return. And I'm going to get that you just met the requirement of doing it. Any questions on your School of Ed dispositions? Great. Really simple, real easy. Like I said, if you want to knock it out tonight or tomorrow or whenever you want to, you can do this because it doesn't take long at all. All right, now if you'll notice that, and that's it for 601. You uploaded your APSL, got it evaluated. You went to your competency folio. You found each of the competencies that dealt with the APSL. You uploaded your artifact for that. You uploaded your internship hours. You requested comments from me. I've gone through and told you if we need to change something, need a different artifact, need a description. And then I say, okay, you're good to go. This artifact meets this competency. We do that for every how many, I think it's 9, for every how many. Then you're done with the competency folio. You come back here, you do the self-assessment competency analysis, you do the School of Ed disposition, and you're done for 601. Now I've got some really good news for you. In 602, you just have the APTL. The APTL and keeping up with your competency folio. When we told you that the hardest semester is the first one, that's exactly right. You'll never do as much as you're doing right now for the rest of the program. 602, you don't have to worry about a competency analysis or a School of Ed disposition. You just load up the APTL into the DRF and the competency folio. You update that to reflect what you did in the APTL. You still keep up with the internship hours, and that's all you do. Now in 603, you will be asked to do the School of Ed dispositions again, because that's a mid check. That's a mid check where we're going to look at that growth of how you've changed in relationship to dispositions of educational leadership. 604, you have 2 evidences, but they're short, and you can utilize a lot of stuff that you will have done up to then. You can recycle some material, especially data that you've already analyzed, so it's not as time consuming. 605, you do the SIOP, you do the School of Ed disposition, you do the competency analysis, but by 605, all of this is routine. Your learning curve is come back down now, and you're at a level, you're leveled out, because this is, by this point, you know exactly what you need to do. You may hear from me 2 or 3 times just because you don't need me at that point. Of course, I'm always there, always available for email or Zoom or whatever. But at that point, I've worked myself out of the job at that point, because you know what to do and where to put it and how to get it organized. Then right before you graduate, don't worry about it. We'll talk about that before you graduate. That's just a matter of getting your competency folio over here. There's a process to do that. It's not a big deal. You don't have to worry about it now. Very last thing you do as a candidate at Gardner-Webb University is you upload your internship log for evaluation. Until 605, at the very end of the semester, you don't mess with this link right here. Where are you going to put your internship log before that? You're going to put it in the competency folio right here and request comments, okay? That's where you put your internship log. 601, you load it up. In 602, you come back to your folio and you load up what you did in 602. All the way to 605, I'll need all of these in here, 601 to 605. Then when we got all of your hours done, I will tell you, okay, go to the DRF, and you now can upload your competency, excuse me, I've got competency folio on my head. You can now upload your internship hours to this link in the DRF, because this is where it gets evaluated for licensure, okay? That's where it gets evaluated for licensure. So you don't touch this link until the end of 605. Because if you do, then you're going to ask for that to be evaluated, and you're going to ask somebody to evaluate it on the number of hours you've got now, not the number of hours you should have. So don't touch that link until the end of 605. All right, I'm going to check the chat here. Okay. Okay, yeah, you can upload in the competency folio. You can go ahead and, if you're done with your 80 internship hours, you can go ahead and upload them into your competency folio now. If you want to get that off your to-do list and request comments, and I'll take a look at them. If you want me to look at them, now anytime throughout the program, if you just want me to check your internship hours for where you're at right now, just email them to me outside of all these platforms. email them to me. I'll take a quick look at them and I'll say, yeah, you're in good shape. Go ahead and upload this to the competency folio. You will never hear me say, go ahead and upload this to the DRF until you're in 605. Okay. But yeah, if you're ready, you can do it. You can do it right now. Any other questions? I know it's been, you know, kind of a long one tonight, but that's it. That's it as far as all that you need to do for 601. Any questions? All right, listen, guys, thank you for your attention. Thank you for meeting with me tonight. Go back and look over this if you have any questions. If it's a quick question and you've looked at it and you forgot, you still can't figure it out, email me. If we need to do a private Zoom, that's fine. If we need to do a Zoom with your small group, that's fine too. But you guys take care of yourself. It's hard for me to say get some rest while I've kept you on here for an hour, and I apologize for that, but try to get some rest. Go outside and breathe some fresh air. My wife and I got home last night, so pretty outside. I said, come on, honey, let's go for a walk. Man, we went outside and went on like a 30, 40-minute walk down the trail. Oh my gosh, that did more for me than a good night's sleep. So take that time and wash your hands and stay safe, and I'll be praying for you, okay? Call me if you need me. We'll see you next time.
Take care.